Well, this will be part two of my version of what Michael K. Vaughn did with his 100 books that he thought were important. And they certainly were. I liked his video quite a bit. I was able to fit everything back on this little table, so we'll try it again. Excuse me. So we'll start out down here with Jules Verne's 7 novels. This will be my cautionary tale section. That's a Barnes & Noble book, and it contains most of Verne's novels. And we also have H.G. Wells' 7 novels, another Barnes & Noble collection. And I have actually read all of those. I've only read 3 of the Verne's so far. And then we have George Orwell, Visions of Dystopia. Now that does also have Animal Farm and 1984 in it, plus some of his essays and excerpts of essays. Next we have A.E. Van Vogt's The World of Null A, and The Empire of Isher, which is actually both the weapon shops of Isher and the weapon makers in one. Oh, beside that is Jack Williamson's The Humanoids. We have Isaac Asimov's The Foundation Trilogy, Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451, Cordwainer Smith, The Rediscovery of Man, and that does include the timeline. A Plague of Demons by Keith Laumer, a really excellent read. D.F. Jones, Colossus. Harry Harrison, Make Room, which the film Soylent Green is based on. Lord of Light by Roger Zelazny. Starship Troopers, Robert A. Heinlein. The Dispossessed, Ursula K. Le Guin and Donald E. Westlake, Anarch Chaos. I have Ursula in between them, so you guys can do a little comparison and contrast. Dune by Frank Herbert. Wolfling, Gordon R. Dixon. Reed's Ransom, Keith Laumer. It is definitely a cautionary tale, but he tells it with great humor, and a very entertaining book. Michael Crichton, The Andromeda Strain. Monument by Lloyd Biggle Jr., another great book that doesn't get much attention. Larry Niven, A World Out of Time, definitely a cautionary tale. Flashback, Dan Simmons, a cautionary tale. Upgrade by Blake Crouch, a very modern cautionary tale about genetic engineering when you don't want it. And just for fun, I have A.E. Van Vogt's Transfinite collection in here from the New England Science Fiction Book Club, as I recall. Next are some important juveniles. Not really juveniles, more like 18 to 20 years of age. Have Spacesuit Will Travel by Heinlein, Citizen of the Galaxy by Heinlein, Storm Over Warlock by Andre Norton, The Witches of Keres by James H. Schmitz. Now, a lot of folks probably have not read The Unpleasant Profession of Jonathan Hoag. These were now out of the cautionary tales into more science fiction adventure, and The Pass Through Tomorrow by Heinlein is just a phenomenal collection of his short stories, and he built a whole world around these stories, and there's a timeline in here. The Bayan, The Green Hills of Earth, which has been reprinted by different people, is a shortened version of The Pass Through Tomorrow. Footfall by Larry Niven I liked quite a bit. And then we have The Rest of the Robots, which contains the Caves of Steel and The Naked Sun, and The Complete Robot by Isaac Asimov. I'm going with some anthologies here. Adventures in Time and Space, a highly regarded anthology. Treasury of Great Science Fiction. I'll be doing a review on that shortly. My notes are still in the book. Unknown Worlds, Tales from Beyond. Some really inventive stuff in there. Treasury of Great Science Fiction, Anthony Boucher. The Treasury of Great Science Fiction is by Groff Conklin. I should have mentioned that. And the volume 2 of the Treasury of Great Science Fiction. Beyond Tomorrow, an anthology by Damon Knight, is just really good. I don't know. It's probably very hard to come by now. Then we have a 30-year retrospective of the magazine of fantasy and science fiction. This was published just after, right around 1980, I believe. And then Galaxy Magazine went under, and here we have 30 years of innovative science fiction from Galaxy Magazine, published in the early 80s too, I believe. War with the Robots, 28 of the best short stories by the greatest names in 20th century science fiction, edited by Asimov, Warwick, and Greenberg. And then we have The World Turned Upside Down, Baen by David Drake, Eric Flint, and Jim Baen. Another excellent anthology. Of course, most people would include the Hugo Winners, Volumes 1 and 2 by Asimov, the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 1, Robert Silverberg, and the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 2A, edited by Ben Bova, the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 2B, edited by Ben Bova, and the Science Fiction, well, no, both of the Bovas were Volume 2, I had mentioned, I think, and the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, Volume 3, Arthur Clarke and George W. Proctor. If you see some books laying around, they're always laying around. There's always something laying around. Here's Astounding. This is a facsimile of the July 1939 issue with Black Destroyer in it. And then I found that these science fiction reference books were very good. The Ultimate Encyclopedia of Science Fiction by David Pringle, Billion Year Spree by Brian W. Aldiss, and pretty much mostly American science fiction, The World of Science Fiction, The History of a Subculture by Lester Del Rey, published in 1977 as I recall. I used these a lot for some of my research, and let's see if I can find the 1926-1976 History of Subculture. I wish Lester had updated this in the 80s. That would have been nice. Copyright 1979, Lester Del Rey. If he had been able to do it again or update it about 1989, that would have been great. But that's what I've got on this. I hope everybody's doing well, and have a great day.